organisations a structured recruitment, screening and selection process. What you say on the telephone, when somebody calls or when they send you an email, I find that your job is not to sell a franchise by email or over the phone. Your job is to actually set up a first meeting with that individual one-on-one. So understand what your sales process is, from identifying that franchisee, selling on the idea of coming for your first interview, and then sitting down at the first interview. What are you going to say at the first interview? How will you wrap it up? What information will you provide him? And what is the next process from there? So important to have a structure of recruiting, screening and selection, and typically I'm providing financial information in a first meeting, and I'm expecting at the second meeting, if a franchisee would like to be considered as a franchisee, he'll come back with an application and a modest deposit, fully refundable deposit, but cash on the table. Money talks. That will sort out whether they're serious or not. If they're not prepared to give you a fully refundable deposit, what are they saying to you? There's two things they're saying. I don't trust you, or I haven't got the money. Okay? And when do you want to know that? As early as possible. So one of the questions I was asked to talk on is converting company stores into franchise stores. And you might have quite a number of locations. If we talk about the Archie's organisation, for instance, they have 350 franchisees and they have 140 stores. If you're going to launch your franchise and you have a number of company-owned stores or company-owned operations, it's often prudent to earmark one of these for sale as a franchise. Why do I say that? It is critical that your first franchisee is successful. If he stumbles and falls, you will lose heart in terms of your franchise system, your team will lose heart, and of course your second franchisee or prospective franchisee wants to talk to the first franchisee to see how he's going. So one of the best ways of ensuring that your first franchisee will be successful is to look at one of your, not your best performing location, because you want to keep that for cash flow and profitability and perhaps for training, but certainly not your worst performing franchisee. And if you have a dog store and you're having trouble making money out of it, why do you think a new boy on the block is going to make it successful? Okay, so you need to have probably a mid-range store that's got some profit. We know that with a motivated owner-operator at the customer end of the business and new enthusiasm, he's actually going to improve the business. Our experience is we'll see an increase in turnover of 10 to 15%. We'll see expenses drop, and we often find theft and cash theft diminishes, so the business can be quite a profitable business for a franchisee, where it might have been just a reasonable business for you as a company-owned operation. And if you grant the franchise of that existing business, there is only one variable that will dictate performance, and that's the individual that you recruit. So what you look at is what are the factors hindering the performance of your existing business, and define whether you could fix it. Is it necessary that perhaps money needs to be spent on it in refurbishing or new shop fittings or more stock? How can the business be added to in terms of value? Defining what value will an owner-operator bring becomes very important. Can the location sustain royalties? Because you'll want to impose an ongoing fee of some sort, whether it's be from the supply side or from a royalty base. And what's the before and after picture? If you're able to demonstrate these, or if you're able to model these, when you grant the franchise to a franchisee and you can actually demonstrate that performance, then you have a wonderful model to talk to potential franchisees. I just make this comment, granting versus selling. The red line is the income you get from selling franchises. Now there's a big market in India, but over time new franchise fees will diminish and you'll need to live on the green line, which is the income comes from your franchisees. So grant franchises and charge a decent royalty for it. Thank you very much.